denuclearization. And from our earlier discussions, we know that's been the problem throughout. Is it capital D denuclearization or small d denuclearization against a timetable over time, excluding or including certain elements? That's where this whole thing, I believe, has founded.
Well, so where was the mistake made then? And plus, whose fault was it? Because you'll, of course, remember John Bolton's statement on the Libya model. That kind of started, souring or poisoning the relationship between the two countries when it seemed like they were more or less on the right track.
It depends how you conduct your diplomacy. If you're going to walk into a diplomatic negotiation with an agreed mutual ambiguity over the term denuclearization, then you shake that tree as hard as you can to see what's going to fall out of it in terms of maybe getting rid of the strategic level nukes, maybe having a timetable to get rid of the intermediate or short-range nukes, maybe a timetable to have a proper verification process. The alternative is that you set the preconditions that it is comprehensive denuclearization, that is, the removal of everything that the North Koreans have, and that's what became explicit through the pronouncement of the Libya model over the last week or so. So the bottom line is, I think the United States changed strategic track from leaving ambiguity about the definition of denuclearization to shake that tree to see how much they could get, and rapidly it became very explicit. And that's where you had, frankly, the encounter of a rock meeting another very hard surface.
But it sounds like in terms of is it because of inexperience? I'm going to bring in John Kirby to the conversation, a military and diplomatic analyst for CNN, former spokesperson for the Pentagon. I wonder, John Kirby, this is an experience, right? Why make these statements in public when you know it could derail, and it ended up derailing a big important summit like this?
Well, one conspiracy theory there, Hala, could be that with the new national security advisor, John Bolton, they actually were cooling to the idea that he wasn't a big fan of moving this forward and wanted to find a way out. And so you introduce, as Mr. Rudd rightly says, you introduce some rhetoric in there to see what kind of shakes out, and maybe gave them the excuse that they needed to not have the meeting in the